Okay.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is August 12th, 2022. Welcome everyone here to the Electrical Work Examining Board meeting today. Let the record show that Chris Brown, Paul Costello, Rich Bird, and myself are board members who are in attendance. The opening of the meeting. Board still has two unlimited journey person positions that are vacant. Those are union positions and 3 public member positions. Everybody received a copy of the previous board minutes dated May 13th. I trust that everybody's looked at them, had an opportunity to digest them, and does anybody want to make a motion to move forward with these?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to move forward with the minutes.
Okay. Is there a second? Paul?
I'll second.
Let's see, is there any, let's see, everybody was here. Yeah, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chris?
I was absent for that meeting. I have to abstain.
Okay, so Chris will abstain. Okay, so if minutes are approved, 3 approving, 1 abstention. Okay, takes care of that. Comments and concerns of any person present today on any non-agenda items. We have everybody into the meeting. Is anybody out in the waiting room, Karen?
We do have Evan Dantos. I can
Oh, there he is.
right,
Coming in.
earlier though, so he should be able to speak, and I don't think he's able to. And like we talked about yesterday, I believe he's from Robinson and Cole, and he's usually
Yes.
here to observe.
Right.
But I haven't heard anything from him,
No.
literally. So
Okay. I trust that it says he's connecting to audio. He may be having trouble. I'm not sure.
right, and I tried that earlier, and it's still, about 15 minutes ago or so, and it's still coming up as
Okay.
connecting to audio. So maybe there are some issues there. But like I said, he usually is here to observe.
All right. Well, I don't think anybody else is out there with anything
No.
other than our agenda.
No.
Yesterday, when Karen sent out the link for today's meeting and all the attachments, again, for anybody that missed them, she included a copy of the investigative division report, which I trust everybody has maybe looked at. I know I just started looking at it a minute ago, so we can take a minute and just look at that if everybody would. See quite a few unsubstantiated claims here. Okay. And one ABC there. Another ABC on page 2. We'll come back to that one. Consumer funded their deposit. Responded is probably okay. Okay. And of course, the one troubling one, of course, is the on the top of the second page, the appears that the complaint was for obtaining permits for others unlicensed. Closed. They did an ABC $1,000 for allowing an unregistered, unlicensed employee to perform occupational work. This almost, and Pam, I don't know if you can add anything to this or not. I don't think Janita's here, but this is the complaint was obtaining permit for others, okay, which I get. And then it's for allowing an unregistered, unlicensed employee to perform work. Do you know if this is actually a contractor who,
And let me take a look at that.
okay,
Hold on, let me just look this up. I apologize because I've been reviewing the report as you are at the same time.
yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just curious if this is a contractor who is taking out a permit for his employees. That's the way I read that.
Right, so that's the allegation. Let me see what the found issues are.
Say it again, Pam.
Excuse me, one second. So when the column that you're looking at are allegations, and then when we do our investigations, there's another column that says, should say found, is where you see the description, but I need to go into the report, the case itself, so.
Okay.
So this is the deposit, respondent is Ulet, correct?
Responded to
2021-4, is that the one you're looking at?
no 2021-356.
Okay, the one at the very top, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this came in as a law enforcement referral. We had obtaining permits for others, unlicensed were the allegations. And we did find unlicensed, unsupervised. And the reason why, if you're questioning why the ABC was issued, is because the statute of limitation expired. So it would have been a misdemeanor, but the SOL told. So there was no, we would not have been able to do the affidavit of arrest, if that's what you're asking.
Was the unlicensed, unregistered person an employee of the person taking out the permits?
All right, let me review down a little bit more. All right, so let's see. The complaint is against the carpenter. Okay, so the carpenter was doing some work that he never finished, took some money. The respondent claims that he has taken a permit out. The permit is extended out to this year. There was a service permit for Eversource install meter. That one is closed. There's a lot of notes here, I apologize.
See,
It's a meter, it's like a meter exchange, but there's a person who is licensed from New York. Would you want me to send more information on that one too, rather than going through this whole, I mean, there's a lot of documents, an investigator did a thorough
Yeah,
job.
I guess here's my concern. And we have been, in the industries, in this board, has been in particular, has been very concerned for a long time about contractors taking, or anyone, okay, taking out a permit for somebody else and allowing them to do work, okay? And I'm reading what it said, based on what it says here in the report, which I know is a very short version of the whole story. And you indicated it was for a carpenter that was doing some work. Well, and then so
So
that raises,
there's like three tiers to this complaint. So it involves Eversource, a carpenter, and the actual respondent.
okay. And since it involves Eversource, it obviously had to do, by sounds of it, with a service change of some sort, which is relatively very, even more so concerning for an unlicensed person to be touching any of that. So I just have a problem that we are dealing with these type of things on an ABC level. And that we're just, what we're doing is we're allowing people to do this, and it's considered the cost of doing business. They paid a fine, they got whatever they got out of it. And we're missing the point of the intent of the law, that people are out there doing work that aren't licensed and aren't registered, endangering themselves, endangering the public. Reading into this and what I've heard so far, if this had to do with some sort of a service change, something to do with Eversource involvement, it wasn't a case of somebody that was unlicensed and unregistered changing some light fixtures in somebody's home. So a lot more potentially serious. So I just have a problem that we're satisfying these with an ABC. Paul, I know you put your hand up there, so.
So let me just add one thing here to this. You only see this one case I just went deeper into our database. There are actually 3 cases attached to the one. The one that you see is closed, and I can't comment because the other 2 are still open. So the other 2 are still under investigation. So this particular one was settled out with an ABC. The other ones are still open.
And the ABC was to settle it out for what purpose?
Yeah, let me just look.
Paul, you wanted to say something?
Actually, that kind of answered one of my questions. Would we be able to know if there were previous citations issued to an individual? You know, are we looking at repeated violations over a period of time?
No, we would, what we do for the ABC is based on the schedule on the MOU. So I will look here and see what I can share. So this is the only complaint this individual has, so it would be the first offense based on the MOU schedule fines. If that answers your question.
It did. Thank you, Pamela.
All right, well, rather than take up too much time here today.
Yep, so Gilroy, your question, the respondent was issued, as it stated on the report, and paid a $1,000 ABC for allowing an unregistered / unlicensed employee to perform occupational work. Hence, the other 2 cases that are open that I can't comment on today.
Because it's in particular, because it does say employees and not persons, okay? It sounds to me like this contractor, this E1, is taking up permits for people that aren't licensed, and if it's an employee, it also sounds to me like he is not necessarily, obviously not registered. possibly. So a couple of things there.
There's three cases attached to it, so this is the only one that I can currently discuss. And
Yeah,
it's not clear, but I understand that, but this is just how they settled out this case. But there are two open cases, one more occupational case and one home improvement case open attached to this.
who handled that in the department?
Do you mean within our agency?
Yes,
Inspector? So it's Janita Hamel and Inspector Thigpen.
and who,
So
What was the-
under
what was the
under the guidance
inspector's
of
name?
Janita Hamel. Janita, unfortunately, she could not be here this morning. She has another assignment, so
Yeah.
she can probably come back and give you more detail or correspond with you. I didn't get to see the report as it came out last night, so I didn't get a chance to review it with Janita ahead of time.
yeah,
But we can gladly, get you this information later.
all right, I'll reach out to you later on this a little bit more and hopefully bring some additional information back to the board next month, the next meeting.
Sure.
The board understand my concerns? Okay, I mean, we're saying I was taking out a permit for somebody that's not licensed, but's an employee. So doesn't that say that I have a person working for me that's not licensed, doing work, and I'm not registered at the same time? Think so.
That's what it says here. So it's obtain permits for the unlicensed installer and home improvement contractor.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can follow up on that a little bit afterwards, you and I. Also, on that same case, in column O, I notice it says 1,500. Instead of, I assume that's O is the financial column.
So there's two ABCs here. One is for Mr. Ballard, 1,500, and another one for Mr. Cruz at $1,000.
So one's for 1,500, one's 1,000.
Yep, so Mr. Cruz is the employee,
Okay,
and the E1 is the $1,500. Both first offense. So credential holder, 1,500, the unlicensed, $1,000. But again, this particular matter is closed, but there are two other open cases for this
Okay.
matter still pending.
I'll try to follow up with you and Janita on that.
Sure.
Is that okay with the board?
Mr. Chair, I just have one question. It looks like from what Ms. Brown said was the $1,000 was paid, but it does not look like the 1,500 was paid. Is that correct?
No, both were paid. The 1,500 was paid
Okay, thank you.
in May of 2022. So this is a case, this is of course our quarterly report.
Yeah, I think what's confusing is the fact that there's $1,000 in column N relative to the case as the ABC, and yet not really indicated anywhere here was the
Not the
$1,500 against this other person named Cruz that we don't even see here.
Yeah, I think it's because of the way that our system is cut off. It's 1,500 for the E1 Ballard and then 1,000 for Cruz.
Oh, okay, so 1,500 was for Ballard. Okay.
And that was settled back in May of 2022.
All right. We'll let you off the hook on that one for right now.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It's Friday. Doesn't
I know.
mean anything to me anymore. Fridays doesn't mean a thing. Deadlines.
All right, moving along, then, anybody got any other questions about that DCP investigative report that they need to bring up? No. All right. Next, under old business, Public Act 22-104. Act concerning cannabis advertising and Department of Consumer Protection recommendations regarding various revisions to the consumer protection statutes. And the link is here. I think we can probably drop that off now. Obviously, that was for everybody's reference for the particular public act. That's in fact obviously law now, and in particular, the items that concerned us were relative to continued education. Okay, and some requirements relative to online and class size, in locations, things of that nature. So we can drop that unless anybody has a question about it. I don't see anybody with a hand up. Paul's hand's still up, but
Just hold my chin up, sorry.
no, your electronic hand on my screen. Oh, wait a minute.
Is
Oh,
it-
that's mine. I'm sorry. That's my cursor. Where are you? Over here. Here, let me I'll hold your chin up for you there. All right. Previous old business items, question about carrying over these. I just wanted to carry them up just to update on continuing education for licenses for 2022 cycle. Basically, I do not have a report, nor have I requested one, but I will from PSI on how many people have completed the 2022 cycle, because as we know, it was supposed to be completed by the end of July, and we can now get that report. There are providers that are continuing to offer it, which is fine. There's nothing says you can't offer it. You can do what you want. This is an unfortunate situation where notification to the license holders was not put out in a really prompt fashion, and a lot of them didn't know about it. So I think most of them have done and are trying to do the best they can. So so we'll be able to drop that at this point, Karen.
Okay.
Continued education for license types for the 2023 cycle. I have one in the queue right now that I'm reviewing. It just came in the other day. But no others have for the 2023. The one that did come in is for in-person. And there's a couple of areas that need to be updated by the applicant, and we'll be getting that notification out to them. So, but so far only one has applied. Update on the adoption of the 2020 state building code. Department of Administrative Services has resubmitted the 2022 state building code, the fire safety code, and the fire prevention code to the regulation review committee. The requested technical and substantive changes have been made, we're told. This should be on the regulation review committee's August 23rd agenda hopefully for approval. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens come August 23rd. Hopefully it'll be taken care of and accepted and passed at that time. Paul, do you want to add anything to that?
It basically kind of summarizes, we had a meeting on Wednesday afternoon, and looks like we are slated, because of that review, there were some minor technical changes, more grammatic to that nature. At worst, it looks like it may put it off another month, looking at a November adoption, if not October 1st. But as long as it goes through on the 23rd, I believe you had mentioned, it looks like there is a good chance still for the October 1st adoption. But it definitely is moving forward. Unfortunately, it might get delayed a month.
Thank you. Well, let's hope we shoot for the October 1st date.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is the related instruction requirements for the C8 license type. I think everybody here on the board certainly has been involved with that. I think you all know that we have asked the sign industry to submit some information. We had a meeting yesterday with them. They added some additional information. We're going to try to recompile the requirements into a new draft form based on the recommendations that came from the board. Chris made some good recommendations, and also from the sign industry. And once we have that, we'll be rescheduling another meeting with everybody involved in the C8 license to review the next draft copy before we submit it anywhere else. Todd Birch also, my dad was helpful with some his input into it from an apprenticeship standpoint. Any questions about that? The new business. The application review working group, let me come back to that one in a minute. Well, no, I don't have to actually, I'll take that back. We've been meeting regularly, reviewing applications. I would say the process is getting a lot smoother in that people are getting the information that we actually asked for. We have the information that we need now published up on the department website from an applicant. It's pretty clear and pretty specific as to what we want and what we need. And so that's seems to be going pretty well at this point. Any questions on that by anybody? I want to add two things under new business. One is that we had previously submitted to the department some recommendations that members of this board put together relative to statutes and regulations. And they were looked at, they didn't get incorporated into anything legislatively the last year. We really need to do that and get them in this year, talk with the department on it. I will reach out to Leslie O'Brien on that and see if we can set up a meeting for her to possibly just a separate meeting, a special meeting, so that the board can go over them line by line with her on the changes that we wanted to make, and hopefully they can put it into the department request for changes this year. That needs to be done by October, so we got a little time, but not a lot of time. So everybody agree we should do that, and with that, get that. You guys all put a lot of work into some of it. Some of it's kind of technical changes and grammatical changes. Some of it's a little bit more on the substantive side, as to get so it's a little bit clearer in the statute or in the regulation. So okay, so we'll do that. It's been quite some time since we've reviewed the PSI exams for the licenses. I think that we're kind of getting back to some sort of whatever the new norm is going to be for business, that that we need to see what we can do to start that process again and review some of them, especially with the new code and codes. It's been quite a few years since we've done it, actually. So if the board members are all in agreement with that, we can reach out to PSI on that. Okay. Okay. On another note, third item, we have a provider. We have a provider that has only provided 2022 classes. Okay. A short while back, he had advertised for some online classes for the 2022 without approval. I contacted him and he did immediately stop any further classes. I believe he had 2 classes, maybe 3, but 2 was for sure. When I spoke to him, unbeknownst to me, he answered the phone, but unbeknownst to me, he was in his hospital bed after undergoing some pretty major surgery. Although he took the call, which was surprising, and he did talk about it, he did stop all classes going forward. This person does continue to have some relatively serious medical conditions going on. Okay. He said he would not do any further online classes for the 2022, which he has not. I did ask him if he recorded those in my initial conversations with him, and he said yes, he did. But based on recent conversations, he's indicated he did not. They did not, which was part of the law at the time. He currently has 2023 application in for in-person classes at this point. I just wanted to bring it before the board's attention. But under the circumstances and based on his commitment, and I don't see any reason or any way that we could, if we wanted to, delay approval of his 23 application, as long as he follows the laws. He did make a mistake. So my recommendation at this point is that I think the person has enough hard luck right now. And, would be my intent to move forward, and once everything is in order on his 2023 application, to approve his application. I want to put that information out before the board, see how the board feels about that. Anybody have any objections, thoughts?
Mr. Chair, I have no objections, as far as that goes, especially due to the, the condition, his health condition and the fact that he was in the hospital. As long as it is very clear, if that individual does do any of the online classes, he must meet all state regulations as far as recording and everything of that nature. Given the circumstances, it could have been an oversight on his part, overseeing it. So I'm in agreement with you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, not only online, but also in-person classes are required to be recorded.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And in a course size wise. So yes, as long as he follows the laws. Paul, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, I also agree with Rich. Just out of curiosity, any idea on the number of attendees in the classes that were affected?
How many people were affected by it? I'm gonna guess less than 40 or 50.
Over a period of 3 classes. So it's
Yeah,
not like,
it's a small number. It was relatively small numbers.
yeah, no, I agree.
Anybody else have any comments, questions? No. Okay, all right, so I will proceed with that application. And once we get back, I get back to missing information and updated information, we can approve, I can approve it. Let's see. Okay, other than that, anybody have anything else they want to bring up as new business? None, okay. Then again, is the gentleman from Robinson Cole still here, or is he gone?
No, he's still here.
He's in, there he is, okay. Again, I believe he's with Robinson Cole, and he's just tuning into the meeting. But are there any comments or concerns for anyone else present here today on any items? Okay. Karen, do we have any correspondence that was not included? No new correspondence? Okay, our next scheduled board meeting is November 4th. The election day?
No, sir.
No,
Election day is November 8th.
November 8th, okay. Close enough. Just trying to get all this stuff behind us. Anyway. So the next meeting is November 4th. We may have a special meeting called with Leslie relative to the statutes and regulations. I'll coordinate that with her, as we said earlier. So if there's nobody has any other questions or any other comments or anything else to contribute, and I do want to acknowledge Verinda Birdsong here. She did join us, so glad to see you here.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and everyone. And I'll be seeing you at 10:30 at our electrical board hearing. We have one case, and I'll leave it in your capable hands, Mr. Chairman and board members. Just one case today. It's Friday.
That's right.
So nice to meet you.
And I don't know about your comment about capable hands, so we'll see how that goes in the next half
We'll
hour,
work through
45
it.
minutes.
We'll work through it. We don't have to. Nobody's perfect, or whole body's nerfect. Take care now. See you at 10:30.
Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to adjourn? I'll give Rich the first and
Yep.
Chris the second. All right. All right, well, thanks, everybody, and as Verinda said, we'll see